If you really believe in your why, there's a law of attraction that happens there, and it's not just opportunities and money, but it also attracts connections and people that kind of rally behind that why. I think God put that why in our heart. If you really get crystal clear on that why, then things start to kind of fall into place.
The reason that we do what we do is to make life easier for families. We want to help people live happier, healthier lives. That is our foundational belief and our foundational why. And
what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Basement 212. This is our third episode, so excited that you guys are here with us today. So we have a super exciting topic today, which is business. So Brantley, why don't you go ahead and kind of give the layout and then go ahead and kick us off.
Thanks again, guys, for joining us. We're super excited to dive into this. Today, we are going to be talking about starting with why in your business. And I think that that's such a crucial piece of what you do because it really lays the foundation for everything moving forward. You know, I think that when you start with why, it really creates a clear and communicatable vision for your team, your customers, and for the people that interact with you on a daily basis, right, in your business. And when we do that and we do it well, it has an opportunity to attract loyalty from customers because people don't necessarily always buy what you do, but why you do it. So getting that vision down and making it plain is super, super important, and something that Corey and I take very personally in our lives, but also in business. And so we've got missions and visions for Cornerstone and for Crown and Bloom. We've even got a mission and vision for Basement 212. We didn't record our first episode until we knew exactly what it was we were doing, why we were doing it, and what we were trying to accomplish throughout this process. A really cool verse. You know us, we like to kind of mix scripture into everything that we do. But in Habakkuk, the Lord replies to Habakkuk and says, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. And I think what's really cool there, and what I at least kind of get from that is, for instance, for Cornerstone, we have this reason that we do what we do, the why behind it, and we've effectively communicated that to our team. And so, that's why right before this podcast, we got a phone call from our reconstruction manager on our reconstruction side, fired up that he's able to help this family navigate their insurance debacle that they're having and try to get them the best rates and the things they can do, because one of our foundational beliefs at Cornerstone is the reason that we do what we do is to make life easier for families. And we want to make the process of whether it be mold or reconstruction, we want to help people live happier, healthier lives. That is our foundational belief and our foundational why. And so, we've communicated that well to our team, and then our reconstruction manager called us fired up because he's able to do that. And so we just gave him some praise, which is really cool. And he's fired up to go do it again. So what are ways, Corey, you feel like you've seen that kind of play out, maybe even so, like not only in business, but maybe in your personal life as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a really good question. I think that your why, if you really believe in your why, there's a law of attraction that happens there. And it's not just opportunities and money, but it also attracts connections and people that kind of rally behind that why, not just customers, which helps build your business, right? There's got to be a product or a service that you sell in order to be a business, but then there's also valuable connections. I read in a Robert Kiyosaki book one time, he talked about, your net worth is equivalent to your network. And, Brantley would probably agree with this, but, our network has grown over the years because of how much we believe in our whys between the different companies and the things that we're putting together. In my personal life, my why is to provide a life better for my daughter than we had growing up, but also to be able to raise her up to be an impactful young woman of God, and to be able to affect the nation with not only just our words and our beliefs, but also with our income, right? Because it takes income to grow. I'm not necessarily the guy that, I mean, you're looking at the one that likes the mud huts in Kenya, but I'm not necessarily the guy that does that, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's a place for that, but I'm the guy that wants to fund that, right? And so what's cool is I think God's, in my personal opinion, God's put opportunities in our life that's kind of surrounding that why, but at the very basic level, I think God put that why in our heart, right? If you really get crystal clear on that why, then things start to kind of fall into place. And then you start to see some evident growth in your life, not just financially and in your business, but spiritually as well.
I can actually touch on that a little
Yeah,
bit
go
with
ahead.
the sense of, so 2 years ago, Shirley and I sat down because we felt like um maybe our life or our marriage, or we felt like there was more impact that
Sure.
it could be had, right? And I told Shirley, I said, well, I think one of the things that we're missing is a family mission and vision statement. And so we sat down and we came up with the Bell family exists to help people live their lives financially and relationally free of stressed out worry and fear.
Oh, I love that.
And so that is one of the things that we've like pursued over the past 2 years. And we say it all the time. It's literally, if you've ever ridden in my car, it is literally on a index card right by the speedometer. And it says the Bell family exists to help people live their lives financially and relationally free of stressed out worry and fear. And since saying that over the past 2 years, man, I mean, you guys have been able to see this, but the amount of impact and the things that have kind of come mine and Shirley's way has been incredible. I mean, we just got asked, a month ago to help lead the young married group at our church and to, help new couples that have just gotten married through the first couple of years of their marriage. And so I agree with Corey. I think when you really figure out what that why is and you believe it and you truly take heart and you apply it to those areas of your life and it's why you do what you do,
Yep.
people can feel it. I mean, it's the reason, like you said, that people are attracted to you. When they get into a conversation with you, they can feel that energy and they just want to be a part of what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like, when I was way back in the day when I was an employee for Zaxby's, and I remember being a cashier and transitioning into a cook, learning all the different, front of house, back of house, that kind of stuff. There was a store manager there, which was pretty, pivotal for me because that was my first, mentor per se in the job world. But I remember that this guy was absolutely fired up and bought out to the mission and the vision of Zaxby's, right? And as funny as that sounds, I mean, you guys are probably on today because you're wanting to learn entrepreneurial principles and success principles and stuff like that. And so, having a job isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a starting point, right? You got to have income, you got to start somewhere. But,
Right.
When that time in my life, I remember that guy was, to me, being around him and his mindset was so attractive, and I wanted to know what he knew because he was excited about it. It wasn't because it was Zaxby's, it was because of the energy. It was because of the crystal clear why that he had.
Yeah, he probably could have been selling toothpicks.
Yeah, he could have been selling toothpicks, and I would have been the toothpick guy, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's so true. I've seen that in my life. And that can also, it can kind of be dangerous
Yeah.
too, right? Because the fact of the matter is this, that even the people that are doing things that don't bring honor to the Lord believe in what they're doing.
Yep.
Right. And so
That's a
that's
good
why
point.
you see things that are evil and deceptive, and if you're not in a good place spiritually, you can be attracted to those things because it's giving off that energy of, ooh, I want to be close to that person because they believe in what they're doing and they've got this energy. And it's like they've taken something that was meant for good, right? Much like the enemy does, and he twists it and it makes it evil and dark. And so sometimes you even have to be careful. And that's why I think, we have things, especially for men. I think not that women aren't guilty of this, but I think for men too, like it's one of the reasons that we get so attracted to things like lust and things is because people that perform in those industries or do those things believe in it so much, and it's just so eye-catching to us, and it just, we're attracted to it if we're not in the right headspace or in the right heart space spiritually.
Yeah, 100%. I look at all of the mentors in my life, or the big heavy hitters that, and you've been around for most of these as well, but every single one of them in their respective industries have all been, they've had a crystal clear why.
Mm.
They've been fired up, excited about that why, relentless about that why. And of course, we just surround ourselves with people that have the same values and spiritual beliefs that we have as well. So, those things check out also. But as they are building their businesses, or their churches, or ministries, or whatever it is, it naturally attracts the right people around them and the resources around them to do that. There's a guy in our life that, we like to look at as a mentor, Brandon T. Adams. He's actually one of the guys that mentioned, hey, you should, do a podcast. And, first of all, super thankful for that. But just looking at him and his business and what he has, and the impact that he makes, the guy is excited and he has a crystal clear why, 100% of the time. If I call him at 3 o'clock in the morning, he knows exactly what he's trying to accomplish, and he can roll for 2 hours just talking about that thing, right?
Yeah, it's got to get so deep. That's a good point about the 3 a.m. thing, because it's got to get so deeply ingrained into who you are, or so deeply ingrained into your business, that if someone calls you at 3 a.m. and asks you, why do you do what you do? You don't have to hesitate or think about it. It's not like I mean, you might be sleepy, yeah, but like, you're not going to have to like wake up and then 5 minutes later have to think about your why. You're going to have a clear vision of what that why is. I mean, if someone woke me up, at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, I would be able to tell them my family mission and vision, because I've recited it so much and it's so deeply ingrained into who Shirley and I are at this point, that I would have no trouble with it. So that's a good point.
100%. All right, guys, it's all the time we have for the day, but I am so excited that you're with us along for the journey. Next episode, we have leadership, and then the episode after that is going to be a special guest. So next week, we're going to release who that special guest is, their business, and then stay tuned, because it's going to be pretty epic. So anything you want to part with?
No, I don't think so. Don't forget, visit us at basement212.com. Comment below, subscribe, message us with, topics that you want to hear us talk about in the future. We'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.